This week in gaming, Shuhei Yoshida, full of grace, puts Jim Ryan in his place. New Vegas remaster isn't happening, apparently. And Asha Sharma might be the GOAT. This is the Nerd Cave News, and I am one of your illustrious hosts, Zach Dykes, joined by my good friend and co-host, Derek Daniel. Derek, how's it going?
It's going pretty well, man. Like I didn't mention it last week on stream because I forgot about it because we had so much news to talk about. But I've been taking a staycation this week. I felt myself needing it, and it just came at the right time, right after inventory. So I have been well rested, ready to, not ready for my vacation to end. I go back Sunday, but at the same time, I have gotten plenty enough rest. Not setting an alarm for 2 a.m. has been nice for an entire week, so I can't complain. So, but I'm well rested. I'm ready to box these articles out tonight.
Man, I've been in the ring. I've been taking the jabs, the hooks, the suplexes, all of those things. So I'm ready to tag you in. Well, I did this morning. I literally texted Derek. I was like, "Hey man, I'm swamped today. Can you help me out and do the article side of everything?" So Derek jumped in and took care of that. But guys, let us know how you're doing down in the comments below, because this is the Nerd Cave News, and we love getting to talk with all of you. Amy says, staycation. Staycation. Amy also says, Zach's been traveling everywhere and busting in his butt. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to the weekend.
I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere.
Well, this was my first time actually. Like, I've been in Texas to go somewhere else. I've flown into Dallas-Fort Worth a few times, and it's always been going somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Right. So you're just passing through. You ain't staying.
Yeah. So it's just like, all right, now I'm finally I went there, stayed there for a little bit. It's all right. I didn't get to spend a ton of time doing anything that I wanted to. You know what I mean?
Right. You never do.
Yeah, you never do when you go working, but that's all right, because we're going to talk about what you've been playing, Derek.
So, even though I've been on a staycation, I have been on the anime grind because I needed to power through the summer, because I have a goal that I want to get current. Like, I want to be July 1st when the summer lineup starts. I want to be on this year's anime lineups to watch and catch up and whatever. Like, so like watch the winter, and then by that time the spring will come up. So I needed to power through. So I've been watching, been catching up and like binge watching like seasons a day and whatever, you know what I mean? Like shows a day. Like thankfully it's been like 12 episode seasons. So I've been watching, I'm not going to go too long into it because I want to talk about them when the next Eat Sleep Anime, and I want to leave something for y'all to come and watch the episode. But watch Onmyo Kaiten Rebirth Verse. That is also a potential hidden gem. Like, the characters aren't exactly memorable, but the story is what is really good. Like, when you think, like, when it does like a double twist. Like, it does a twist, and you're like, okay, let me process this, but I figured it out. Cool. And then it does another twist, and you're like, what is happening? Like, who? Like, what? Like, explain this. But it is done really well. So, another potential hidden gem along with Mikadono Sisters for the summer lineup. But what I've been binging like the last couple days, Zach, and you can tell, like, I don't, maybe the story is not A tier, but it has got you emotionally invested. Like, and that's Rent a Girlfriend. Like, it's in, like, I've watched like other romance, like a couple of Cuckoos, and what was the other one I just watched? Rascal Does Not Dream series. Those have been good. I've enjoyed them, like what I did watch, but like from season to season, because it adds like a drama element, because it's like centered around two main characters, a guy and a girl. He has, like, in the beginning, he's dating his first ever girlfriend, and like they're for a couple of months. Then she just breaks it off with him because, like, I guess she's bored or whatever. She doesn't really see anything going. And then he's just devastated. But then there's like a rental girlfriend app. Now it's nothing bad, It's just like, hey, go on dates, and you pay for this, you pay for their time and like pay for their meals and whatever. You know, it's like just pretty much like a glorified dating app, except you actually meet IRL. But then that revolves because something happens with the main character's grandmother. She's in the hospital, and then it just so happens that she's best friends with the girl that he's on a date with, his grandmother. And so that spirals into a whole thing. It's like, oh, you two are dating, you know, and just the antics that happen, like where they pretty much keep the lie going. And and of course, like the X comes back into the fray. Like it's just a whole thing that spirals. And I could tell I'm enjoying it because I got emotionally invested. Like I'm screaming at the TV, like in agony, in joy, in frustration. Just like I have never like I know I you know last year I talked about in one of our episodes of Eat Sleep Anime that one of my things was to get more involved, like get into more genres of anime rather than just action or like whatever. And watching these seasonal lineups, like catching up on like last year's and coming into this year's, I think has helped with that because you know, again, I'm not vastly knowledgeable in the romance anime genre, but this being a romance with some drama mixed in, because the way the fourth season ended, you know, it's on its fifth season now. It just started, like they just dubbed the first episode yesterday, so I'm going to watch this probably after the show tonight. But me catching up on the like 4 seasons worth of stuff has just been, oh my god, it's been twists and turns, been agonizing. Like it's just, and maybe I see a little bit of myself in the main male character, like how his like thought process is and overthinking stuff and whatever. But I have just gotten so emotionally invested in this show, and I think that's a testament to how good it is.
Amy putting you on blast here. Rent a Girlfriend app. Derek, what are you watching? Sounds like a mail order bride service.
It does. I mean, hey, Japan's just different. Which, you know, it's funny because I saw an article as I'm watching the show. Again, maybe my government agent's just listening to the right thing, but I saw something in Japan where they'll actually encouraging singles to like get on dating apps and like meet each other. I'm just like, are they doing Rent a Girlfriend in real life right now? Like, what is happening?
Well, I know that you can rent like families or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Brendan Fraser did a movie recently that's around this rental family that I want to watch. But I remember a segment from Conan O'Brien. He went to Japan and he literally hired a whole family to pretend to be his family and everything. So it is something there, but I've seen the manga and I've seen the like cover art of Rent a Girlfriend. I haven't like ventured out into the romance stuff at all for anime and everything, but it might be.
Well, and I also think now I know Rascal Does Not Dream eventually like they get to a college arc, but this is the first one where like they might start out in 1920, but they start in college. So I think that's also why I'm invested because they don't make it creepy. You know what I mean? Like high school girls, you know what I mean? So they don't make it creepy and make you feel some type of way about watching a romance anime. You know what I mean? Yeah. So this one is supposed to be like natural college age, you know? So I think that's also why it hits differently because it's like, okay, I can breathe instead of having to feel weird about what I'm watching on screen, you know?
Yeah, that is definitely difficult. Amy says, I've been looking at more romance anime and trying to figure out which ones are kosher. Which you know,
it's hard.
It's hard.
I'm sure there are ones that you can that are kosher, but at the same time, they're probably also not that interesting because you know the ones that, and I'm not saying all of them have to be this way because you know like Shonen does this right with fan service and whatnot. So, but a lot of the times like some of the better ones do have a little bit of that, but if it's like as long as it's not their whole being and like that's not what they're like falling on the sword for, like this is their whole trope, it's fine. You can deal with a little bit of it, you know, like you can deal with a little bit of cringe as long as the story's good and it's not overbearing in your face.
Amy says, I'm upset because I started Yona of the Dawn and I didn't realize it wasn't finished. She said it was really good. She was talking to me about it and everything, and then she's like, she's like, I didn't know it didn't have all the seasons and all of this, and then and then we're sitting watching Demon Slayer last night, and she was like, so this is finished, right? And I was like, the manga is. I was like, but the anime's not. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, it's like a movie and then 2 years between each one. And she was like, why didn't you tell me? I was like, you get to feel the pain that I've been feeling.
Exactly.
Derek, if it's kosher, it ain't worth watching. All right, Mr. Fan Service. Oh my God.
Listen. I don't watch it for that. Sometimes, because I mean, Fairy Tail, I'm sure you know this, Amy. I don't know how much farther you've gotten in Fairy Tail, but Fairy Tail does this, and I did not expect it. I came there for the action because I saw some fight scenes, like in clips or whatever. And I was like, okay, cool, let me check this out. This gives me like certain, it's like the typical shonen fight anime. And then it introduced the fan service of like, okay, I didn't sign up for this, but sure,
the
whatever.
Typical shonen fan service.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is like, this is I'm not saying this because it's that. I'm saying it because this is like the truth. Like, and I'm not saying all of it, right? But usually stuff that is more tame doesn't sit well. Now, whether that's because of fan reaction and they want to see the raunchiness, or that is because the story is not done well, that's usually is the case. And that's in real world television too. You know what I mean? Like usually like the wholesome stuff doesn't hit as well as something with a sprinkle of it. Just saying, like, I'm just being truthful. Look, I'm not going to win. I already know I'm not going to win this argument.
Yeah,
but
you're digging your hole, bro. You're digging your hole.
I know. Where's that ban button? Where's that ban button?
Oh my gosh, Nate, just coming in hot.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna favorite that comment.
No, that's okay. That's all
right. Well, since we're talking about anime, I finished Send Us to Be a Hero.
Yes.
And I sent you a text and you never responded. So
my bad.
Whatever.
My bad. Hand of accountability.
But yeah, if y'all are looking for a good anime that doesn't have fan service, this is definitely one for you.
Sorry, let me re-clarify because I don't think I said romance anime. Romance.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like there's plenty of great anime that are just action. Trust me.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, like Send Us to Be a Hero, like, yeah. I'm right there with you on like I still think the other twist that we saw at the end was just as impactful, but I'm right there with you. Like that first twist that you were more surprised by definitely kicked off the way that the episode ended.
Yeah. So y'all go watch it. You will definitely be surprised. And it starts out pretty quick. Like it isn't a slow burn anime. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I feel like it's kind of like it even starts faster than Demon Slayer.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, you can go watch our impressions on the last episode of Eat Sleep Anime where we talk about the winter lineup. So, but yeah, agreed. Like it does kick off again to a detriment. It does kick off a little bit too fast, in my opinion, where it's like, again, they make you feel like you're supposed to already know this. And when it's your first introduction to this, it's like, okay, give me just a little bit of like, give me the 2-sentence introduction, my guy. Like I need something. Don't just assume that this is just common knowledge when I'm seeing it for the first time.
I think that was one of the reasons why I was just kind of like, I don't know if I enjoy it yet, but then like, thankfully the first episode being an hour definitely let you kind of, let it cook.
Correct.
Amy says, I think a good no fan service is Kaiju number 8. I agree.
True, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think more and more shows are getting that way because, I mean, it's I think Attack on Titan was like one of the first ones where they didn't overtly throw it in your face. You know what I mean? Now,
Female
yes,
Titan,
it was there
bro.
some
Female Titan.
Yeah, but that's okay. But if you okay, now, you know what? I'm not even going to
some weirdos
that.
out there. You know some weirdos.
I know.
There.
That's why I stopped myself. Because there are some people down bad enough to do anything. Anyway, let's move on.
Let's talk about some video games. I actually played a video game last night on my portal, which I needed some video game time after,
Oh,
because
I bet.
I don't think I streamed last week. Did I stream last week? Last Tuesday? I think I did. Yeah, I did. Maybe.
Okay.
I
No,
don't
I don't think you
remember.
did. I think you
Yeah.
canceled last Tuesday.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Because I needed to work on some stuff for this thing. So I
Mhm.
played some V Rising last night, and like I'm at this point, and it's really annoying. I'm like 2 levels higher than a boss, but this boss is a necromancer, and he's able to summon like hordes of skeletons,
Ooh.
and he shoots out exploding skulls. So like I'm having a really hard time beating him with my current like level and all of this and like the equipment that I have. So I'm
Mhm.
just kind of like, all right, how can I like I'm trying to like finagle. I need to get some certain things so I can build some new gear and everything. But
Right.
I've I got it. Like, this is one of those games that doesn't tell you a lot, so you got to kind
Mhm.
of just like experiment or go look on the web to go find things like how to level up. And I found a guide that like you can do that pretty quickly a certain way.
Mhm.
But I finally got my second thrall. So I built my second servant coffin, so I have another thrall to go do stuff for me. This time I got like a regular worker so they can like infiltrate human
Yeah.
settlements instead of like a bandit that can like go and fight and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm loving V Rising. It's a ton of fun. And guys, if you got a portal, you know what it is. You know what's up.
Yeah.
You know what's up. I love that thing so much. Um yes, everybody
I know
needs
you
to
love
watch
it more than the Vita. We know. The Portal is what the Vita could never be.
No, the portal. The
Oh,
portal,
I'm saying it so because I just want to,
dude. You
you
didn't
know.
even have a Vita, so you ain't got no skin in no game over here. At least,
I
like
know it's just a jab at you.
I know, yeah, because you suck. The Vita, at least you could play games by itself. You didn't have to stream anything. But I will say
True.
the remote play is better. But it's a long time between the Vita and Portal, so
Yeah.
Yes, the Portal does just stream games, and thankfully they did do an edition like November, where you could stream from the premium library and everything, so you
Right.
didn't have to have a PlayStation 5. But dude, I absolutely love it. It's gorgeous, and it's not OLED, but I feel like it looks better than my OLED Steam Deck.
You're right.
Just the way it renders everything, and they just did an update where you can get higher resolutions, kind of like how you pick either performance or resolution and everything. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
I'm loving it.
Guys, let's get into what is and what forever will be the gaming discussion. First up, everybody hates Jim Ryan, and we got one more reason to hate this dude because he's messing with the man, the myth, the legend, the full of grace himself. Shuhei Yoshida reveals he was fired from his SIE Worldwide Studios role because he didn't listen to Jim Ryan, the person that no longer works for Sony because he sucked at his job. And this is that was editorial at the end, but I think that could have still worked as a title.
Oh yeah.
By Michael Herodence at PlayStation Universe.
And it just popped in my head is just like this is like the PlayStation version of like two different sitcoms. Like everybody hates Chris, everybody hates Jim Ryan, everybody loves Raymond, everybody loves Shuhei Yoshida. Like this. I'd watch that. I'd watch those two sitcoms. Just saying. So Shuhei Yoshida has reportedly stated during an appearance at Australia's Alt Games Festival over the weekend that he was fired from his senior position at Sony Interactive Entertainment Worldwide Studios because he, quote, didn't listen to then CEO Jim Ryan. Yoshida-san, who departed PlayStation after more than 30 years in early 2025, revealed during the event that he was asked by Ryan to, quote, do some ridiculous things, which he refused to do. Quote, I helped Santa Monica to make God of War, Naughty Dog to make Uncharted, and The Last of Us and Sucker Punch to make the beautiful Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima was one of the last games that I worked on as the president of Worldwide Studios. But in 2019, after 11 years leading the first party development, I was fired from the role. Jim Ryan wanted to remove me from first party because I didn't listen to him. He asked me to do some ridiculous things, and I said no. Yoshida had previously revealed that he had, quote, no choice in moving from SIE Worldwide Studios to heading up the format holder's indie efforts, as it was either that or leave the company. And Zach, let me just start off by saying, and let me clarify because I know it is not legal. I don't condone doing this. I have no intention of doing this because I don't want to go to jail. But and he probably doesn't even stream anyway. But if I had a free pass, I would swat Jim Ryan in a heartbeat without a second thought. Just saying. Like, we already hated this man for the stuff we reported on over the last couple of years, to like his poor live service, to pretty much shoehorning every studio to do this. But when you mess with the GOAT, Shuhei Yoshida, full of grace,
Yeah,
you are picking at the wrong bull. You are picking the wrong fight because you are asking for a stone cold stunner, my friend.
Yeah, this just goes to show you that, one, Jim Ryan really sucked at his job. Like, look at the games over the 11 years that Shuhei was the president, and
Game of the Year nominees and winners.
And winners. And when you think about that, it's like, well, what was the track record of Jim Ryan? We've got a much better look at what Jim Ryan his track record is at this point, and it's put Sony in a much poor position than it should be, because I feel like Jim Ryan didn't understand video games as a whole and only saw it as a money-making venture, which, of course, making money is part of what gaming is, but it's the art that is on top of that. And I want to know what Shuhei said no about. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see what he was trying to be forced to.
I was wondering if I'm wondering if it was something like Jim Ryan wanted to incorporate those live service initiatives earlier into some of those. Probably, like, I know Ghost of Tsushima had the Legends multiplayer mode come in after launch, and I know Last of Us had a multiplayer, which I know some of it was beloved by fans, but it was like it didn't take over the world by storm. So I'd like to know, like, I know God of War nor Uncharted 4 had multiplayer in them, so I wonder if he was just
Uncharted
like trying
4
to
had
push
multiplayer.
It did? Okay, I thought it ended with 3. My fault.
No, it had multiplayer. And Last of Us, Jim Ryan wasn't CEO at that point. That was Sean Layden.
Okay. Well, I'd still like to know what he said no to. Like, it had to have been some type of like longevity, some type of modes in there that was like everyone was against, and like, so like I know Shuhei probably was like, what are you talking about? Like, these games are doing great. Like, they're telling fantastic stories. Why do they need this? And I feel like I know live service wasn't a thing then, but I feel it was live service-esque. You know what I mean? I feel like Jim Ryan was trying to push some type of online initiative with some of those games.
I could see some sort of microtransaction or something, because that would have been more of the push for those specific games, but it could also be the stuff that he was working on that he got moved off of. It's like, oh, well, you need to do X, Y, and Z to Spider-Man. You need to do this for that, and it would have really neutered
Horizon
those
Forbidden
games.
West needs to have this.
Yeah, I totally could see that. Oh, you're going to have to pay $20 to get the golden backpack in the first Horizon to be able to, fast travel all the time. Which, again, that was a stupid decision to even have the golden backpack.
I know. Ugh. Or it's like, oh, you could just pay $15, $20 like early, like microtransaction heavy probably,
Yeah.
That may have been more what he wanted to implement was microtransactions into some of those games. It's like, you can pay $15-$20 to unlock that early and not have to trek halfway through the game to find it. But
Yeah.
and then Shuhei's like, yeah, no, let's just deal with this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you know, Jim Ryan, like, as bad as he was at his job, I am so thankful that he is not involved with video games. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like, uh, it just reminds me, it's like we're in a much better place without Jim Ryan and Bobby Kotick involved in the video game sphere.
Well, again, and we've talked about it time and again, right? Like they were businessmen. Like
Yes.
whereas Phil Spencer and Shuhei, and to an extent, Sean Layden were gamer.
Mm-hmm.
I know Sean was technically leaning more toward businessman, but he was a gamer, to an extent. But they are gamers. That's why you need to, like, you can have a business acumen, not destroy, not saying you don't need to have one, but
Yes.
you need to have someone who understands and is involved with video games and has done video game development, or at least been involved in some capacity, to understand what these studios are asking for. Like when they come to you like, hey, we're thinking about this idea, like, what do you think? And instead of just pushing, it's like, oh, well, I need my agenda pushed, like Shuhei, like the tale as old as time with God of War 2018, right? It's like Corey thinks they have an amazing idea, and Shuhei could have ran with him and be like, yeah, okay, cool, but can you add these live service or like whatever, whatever at the time, like kind of bull crap, in there, and it wouldn't have been a game of the year, a winner. But Shuhei looked in and was like, yeah, this is trash. How about you figure out what y'all need to go back to the drawing board on this one? And Corey was afraid for his job at that point.
Yeah,
So
I feel like, we can beat the dead horse here and everything, but when you really look at this, it's people that, like, being a creative as I am, not to foo myself or anything, but
right,
when you are a creative, a lot of times you're not focused on the business side. So yes, you do need to have a business acumen,
correct,
but so many times things get skewed because of the pursuit of money, and like that's hard. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
that's hard to keep making something when that is the way it's going.
Right. I
So
mean, it needs to be balanced, as all things should be. But, and again, like, yes, that's why I'm saying, like, you need to have a business acumen too, because again, all the passion in the world doesn't translate to keeping the lights on and you having a job. Like, yeah, you don't need to be greedy, and you don't need money, doesn't need to be the forefront of your focus. But at the end of the day, if you don't have the money to keep funding your next idea, the other ideas that you have, and keep making sure that you have a job to go to every day, it all means nothing.
yep, exactly. And we shouldn't swat people. Let me just say
I
that.
know. I know.
We
That's why I
shouldn't.
said I wouldn't, because I know it is illegal. I get it. But I'm just
and
saying, this
and
article ticked me
bad
off enough to where I
because
considered it.
and bad, Derek. Naughty, naughty. Don't do that again.
It's me. Me. I'll be the black sheep on the show. I don't care.
uh, uh, uh. Well, I'm glad Shuhei's doing what he likes now,
Exactly.
and he's free
He's living his
from.
best life.
And he's always full of grace. You know what I mean? He's always full
Always.
of grace.
Even when he's putting someone on blast, he does it gracefully.
Yes, because Shuhei's the best. Let's move to another story. Fallout New Vegas might not be getting a remaster because Obsidian's former COO says Bethesda doesn't have the engineering know-how to remaster Fallout New Vegas, and this is by Marco Hereditz at PlayStation Universe.
So, Obsidian Entertainment co founder and former chief creative officer Chris Avellone has said during an interview with YouTube's TK's Mantis that he doesn't believe Bethesda has the quote engineering know how to remaster Fallout New Vegas. Quote, just really simply, I don't think Bethesda has the engineering know how to make a remaster of New Vegas at all. Avellone added that he hasn't played the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered, but he has heard people enjoyed some of the visuals, but overall it seemed the reception was kind of negative. TK's Mantis offered that the rumored Fallout 3 remaster could potentially utilize the same method that people want Fallout New Vegas to receive the same treatment. Avellone replied, quote, "Well, I mean, just pragmatically, it would make more sense to try out that process with Fallout 3 before going to New Vegas, just to see what all the problems and issues are as a result." The host then asked, quote, "And you think other than that, fundamentally it would be an impossibility for them?" And Avallone responded, "Yeah, for one reason, the very last milestone for New Vegas was, quote, please deliver all the source code and ability to make the build and we'll pay you like 10,000 for that milestone." Now what that milestone really meant was if all those assets were given to Bethesda, that means that they can recreate the game at any time. So, for reasons unknown to me, uh, but I have suspicions, Fergus decided not to cash out that milestone and did not deliver it. It's not a strange decision if you feel, which would not be out of the realm of possibility, that he felt that the New Vegas experience cheated him out of X amount of money. In which case cutting off the revenue stream from that product for a time would be a possibility. I could certainly see that, and I'm not saying that's the case. So, and one thing, this seems more again like a like a trashing post. You know what I mean? Because it seems like they're doubting Bethesda's experience. Like I know Oblivion Remastered was like, yeah, I know some people said the visuals were negative, which I'm not saying that there wasn't people who were negative on it, but for the most part, I mean, it came out the end of a year ago. Well, maybe 2 years ago now. Like, but yeah, it came out end of last year. Yeah, it did last year, end of April. Sorry, a year ago, and it was the best-selling game of the month. And it came out the last week of April. So that
Yep.
says now whether that was just on the namesake alone, the nostalgia factor playing in, or the fact that it actually looked better than a typical remaster should still mean something. And I think that should mean like I think you would think that okay, when you first at first blush, it makes it sound like okay, Bethesda may not have the complete wheelhouse to do New Vegas remaster, but then when you read it, and then they say, oh well, Fallout, they should do this with Fallout 3 first. It makes it sound like they are still holding on to because Obsidian did New Vegas, and it was actually at the time a more popular Fallout game than some of the previous Fallout. Like I know, like Fallout, people hold Fallout 4 in high regard, but not as much as Fallout 3. You know, I'm like, oh, well, they're not like Fallout 3. I don't think had that same reception. Now, whether that was because of the length of time it was between 3 and then when 4 came out, who knows? And I know 76 coming out, while it's still coming out with updates and new content and people, there's still a fan base for it. It is not the typical Fallout that people want from this.
Yeah.
So of course, when Fallout 5 eventually drops, I think people will lose their absolute minds over that as well. Now, whether it'll beat out Fallout 4 or whether it'll be on the same level as Fallout 3, we don't know. But this seems like they're kind of still what's the phrase I'm looking for? Like keeping it close to the vest. Like it's New Vegas was their baby. They outdid Bethesda on a Fallout game, so it was just like, hey, you can do Fallout 3. That was your baby. Don't touch ours. And it's like, but fans want it. Like don't like whether I know that he doesn't work with Obsidian. He's a former COO. I get it, but you have no skin in the game at this point. Why do you care? First of all, but also, why are you gatekeeping is the word I was looking for. Why are you going to gatekeep and hold it against the fans that would actually probably go bananas for a New Vegas remaster?
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense because Xbox owns both Obsidian
Correct.
and
So it's
Bethesda.
like at the end of the day, they don't have the final say. So Xbox will
Yeah.
come and be like, "Well, we're going to give it to them anyway."
Yeah, so it just is strange. And yes, there has been a lot of talent that has been lost across the industry with all of the layoffs and everything. And I know Bethesda and Obsidian haven't escaped from that as well. So
Right.
it's like, okay, yeah, they might not, but like you said, they did the whole Oblivion remaster, and yeah, a lot of people might have like I don't remember a lot of people complaining, to be honest. Like it,
Correct. Like,
like people
but again,
love
it might
that
have been
game.
small pockets.
Well, they're always the loudest, but it
Right.
reviewed well, and I think
Mhm.
people really enjoyed it. You know, they were excited to see the game come back, and
Mhm.
like Fallout New Vegas is the Fallout game that people want. Like 3
Correct.
was good, but New Vegas, I never played New Vegas, but
Right.
Fallout New Vegas was like everybody was excited. Like they loved 3, but then New Vegas somehow just took it to the next degree
Mm-hmm.
up. And it's like that's the one they want over anything else. And it's like,
Right.
okay, if they put out Fallout 3, people are going to be like, but I want a New Vegas. You know what I mean? And it's like,
Right.
well, maybe it is the stepping stone or whatever. But if you put
Yeah.
out New Vegas, then you put out Fallout 3, people aren't going to care about Fallout 3.
Correct.
So it's like, which, do you kind of lead up to it, which makes sense,
Right.
but I don't know. I also think when someone leaves a job, leaves a
Mm-hmm.
position, a lot of times they're going to speak negatively about their
Oh
former
yeah.
place and everything. That's just kind of how it is.
Yeah.
Joe says, it seems like some of these gaming companies are allergic to money some days. True.
I know. Well, and it's like you see this in it's not just gaming. It's like I know in my line of business, like I work for a grocery company, and like working in the grocery department, you deal with vendors, and then when you talk to vendors and like you need sales product, and that like some of these vendors that aren't like multi like they only come like a couple times a week to make deliveries, and then when you tell them like, hey, is there any way you can make a special delivery? It's like, well, I can't come till Friday. And it's like, and me and the grocery manager have looked at each other sometimes. And it's like, why are they leaving money on the table? Like why? Like, and then it reevaluates. It's like maybe we shouldn't give you as many displays the next time around because if you don't want to keep the shelves full, why are we bothering?
Yeah. Well, and it's like when let's take Sandfall as an example. When you're young,
Correct.
scrappy, and hungry, you're going to make it happen. You're going to go that extra
Correct.
mile. You're going to push and push and push to make it happen. But when you're sitting on your 5-gallon bucket, it doesn't matter.
Right. It's like I'm not going to put any vendor on blast in case anybody watching works for that company or it has somebody involved in that company. But there is a vendor that's a bigger name in our not a big one, but a bigger one that across the board with our like I don't know if it is with outside like other companies, but I know with Publix. Yeah, their service when the reps are supposed to come and put service, work their backstock or work their trucks, don't come when they're supposed to. And I mean, I've heard people, some stores say that yeah, their rep doesn't come till like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, you have missed so many sales by this point. Like, what's like why? Why is the service this bad? So yeah, and like you said, rest on your 5-gallon bucket and just don't care and. Like Sandfall, make it happen, and you know what? When you bust your butt and you're hungry, you win Game of the Year awards. Just saying.
Mm-hmm. And you know what, everybody? You could win right now by hitting that like button. Right now. You could do it. You could win. What do you win? The feeling of accomplishment that you've helped out a 1.5 person business. So go ahead, smack that like button. It helps us out a ton. Next up, we've got the new future of Game Pass and more. The Game Pass saga continues. And when you texted me this, Derek, I was like, we called it. We called it.
Sure did. I didn't expect it to happen literally not even a week later, but kudos that it happened. Like we spoke it into existence, Zach.
So Xbox drops prices for Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass. And this is by Marcus Stewart at Game Informer.
7 months after introducing new, more expensive tiers for Xbox Game Pass, Microsoft has announced it is cutting the price of Game Pass Ultimate for console and PC. Furthermore, new Call of Duty titles will no longer be included in the library at launch. Xbox CEO Asha Sharma announced on Twitter that Game Pass Ultimate has become too expensive for too many players, and that the price of Game Pass Ultimate has dropped from $30 a month to $23 a month, while PC Game Pass, previously $16.50 a month, will now cost $14 a month. Sharma states that the price change takes effect today. Well, when it posted today, so it would have been a few days ago, so it's already in effect. And after checking ourselves, this is indeed the case. Quote, we'll keep learning and evolving Game Pass to better match what matters to players, Sharma says in her post. The perks for Game Pass Ultimate will not change, as an Xbox Wire post states. Quote, Game Pass Ultimate subscribers will continue to have access to hundreds of Xbox games on Xbox consoles and PC, including current Call of Duty titles, in-game benefits, online console multiplayer, and major day one releases. The other side of the coin is that starting this year, Call of Duty games will no longer join Game Pass at launch. Instead, new Call of Duty games will be added to Game Pass roughly a year later during the next holiday season. Existing Call of Duty titles will remain available on Game Pass, however. Although the cheaper Game Pass tiers, Essential and Premium, will remain at their current price at $10 and $15 respectively a month, this is welcome news for Ultimate and PC Game Pass subscribers. Gaming has rapidly become more expensive over the past year, so it's nice to hear something going down in price instead of the opposite for a change. Now, yes, while it did go up not that long ago, it is nice to see it go back down. And again, to see it go down rapid, like we've been talking about it for the last few weeks about how she's speaking this to existence, and then all of a sudden, boom, you wake up this week and like it was like I think Monday or Tuesday, and it happens. It's now, yes, do I think it could go down again? Yes, but we talked about it. It's like, look, because there was a rumor that Call of Duty could be the one, like, was the reason that Game Pass, the price went up because it's a massive studio, it's a massive IP to add to the title, and it's like you have to pay for that. So we said the quick fix is to take it out, and yeah, it took it out, and now we're seeing an instant drop. Now, the one thing I don't agree with is the fact that won't come to Game Pass for almost a year. So when the next Call of Duty comes out, they'll put the last year's on there. So it's like, okay, I know it's trade one for the other. It's a trade off, but I feel like after the first 6 to 8 months, you've already made all the revenue you're going to make from Call of Duty. At that point, with holiday sales and whatnot, and like spring sales with like tax refunds hitting their stride. So I feel like that should be a shorter window to put it on Game Pass, because when it comes to Game Pass almost a year later, the newness is going to come out. Why are people going to care about the old one? You know what I mean? Unless, again, with stuff going up, people with tight wallets, you'd be like, okay, let me check this out. I don't have money to pay for the new Call of Duty, but this one just hit for my Game Pass. Let me try it out now. I get that point, but putting it almost a year after, when the new one's going to come out pretty soon, not that's far out after its drops, is kind of ridiculous to me. I feel like it should be more of like a 6 to 8 month window.
Yeah, it is a long time, but when we look at it, the sales on Game Pass, I mean, the sales on Call of Duty always are in like the top 10 every month. Correct. Of like the sales charts and everything. So it's like, all right, how long does that, take and all of that? I'm getting some data over here while that comes in, but hey, this is huge. I'm curious, for everybody that's listening, how many people are going to get Game Pass now that it has dropped down? It is still $2, I think, higher than it was originally 7 months ago before they jumped up to $30, because I think it was like 19. I can't remember totally. I might be wrong on that.
Yeah, I think it was like 20.
Yeah.
So
I'm curious, how many people are going to jump back on Game Pass now that they've lowered the price about $8? I would love to know that. Michael says, the pessimist in me thinks this was the plan all along: increase it a lot, get past the outrage, and then lower, and consumers will see it as a win.
Well, and he didn't beat me in full, but Mike is kind of dancing around the issue, that the question I was going to raise about this. So he's on the right track. So I do think there is a whole tug of war with this. Again, get past the outrage and then lower it, to get a boon. I don't know if it's necessarily that. Like the plan was to increase it a lot to get people ticked off and leave Game Pass. But I think the other side of this, is it happened really quick, and it's like, again, I know when Asha Sharma was giving her planned layout and we talked about it in detail, I equated it to like a new president, like their first 30 days, like signing all these executive orders. But I think this is also Xbox trying to shine a positive, because there was skepticism when Asha Sharma first took office, with her background and all that kind of jazz, like her lack of gaming and all that, that the Xbox is shining. It's like, oh look, we're putting her up on a pedestal. But like, because how you raised it, if like 7 months after you just raised the price, if it was that easy to lower it, and you knew why you had to increase in the first place, and you could have just like, I may be like the outlier on this one. I don't think Call of Duty should have come to Game Pass. I think you should have treated it as a premium title, regardless of, like, I know we're the minority, like, that Call of Duty has gotten stale. And, we think that it needs to change drastically, but people still buy it. Like you just said, it's a top of sales charts every month for like almost a whole year straight, right? So people are buying it. It has an audience. People are spending their money on it regardless. So treat that as a premium title. Don't give it out away for free. Now I know it didn't affect sales that much, but if it was going to affect Game Pass that much, you should have just left it as a premium title that people just had to buy and add it into later, not make it a day one thing. But it's funny that 7 months after the fact, you deal with all this backlash, and then you just drop it when a new person takes office. Makes it seem like they're very much doing a politic thing of like, hey, look, we've got a new person in, we believe in them, they're driving our business forward to what we want it to be, until the plan is not the plan anymore. You know what I mean? So I feel like there will be a but down the road. But I do think it is sort of like a cloak and dagger, putting like, regardless of how Phil Spencer exited, and we know how Sarah Bond sort of exited, and like the scuttlebutt around why she left. They want to move past that and basically put on this new person and be like, say, we believe in what they're doing for the company. It's like, do you though? Or are you just pantomiming to appease the people to put money in your pockets?
Well, I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be more positive on this. I'm taking this as a win, a big win.
Oh, it's a win regardless. Like, regardless of the why, it's still a win for the consumers.
Yeah, 1,000%. I think from the moment that Asha Sharma took on the position as the head of Xbox, she has been talking about, we're bringing Xbox back to the forefront. We're making it what it's supposed to be, and that's about games. Mm-hmm. And everything that she has done so far, actions speak louder than words. Show me what you're going to do. Don't just tell me what you're going to do. Because as much as I love Phil, he would say something, and then 2 weeks later, he would have to go back on his word because somebody would tell him. Asha, on the other side, she has been, and again, we're only looking at a 2 or 3 months so far of her track record compared to 12 years of, 11, 12 years of Phil. She's doing the thing now. Okay. She's walking the walk. Yes. She's rolled back the price, which, hey, awesome. This is something we've been wanting. Literally, if you go back to the day that we did the show where she took over, what was the one thing that I wanted? Game Pass to go back down. Correct. Now we're getting that. And us being able to focus on games, I think, is going to be so big. And like, yes, have Call of Duty be Call of Duty. Let it stand of it on its own. It literally makes $1 billion a year. Correct. Like, it's a huge game. And I got the data in. Call of Duty makes most of its money in the first 90 days. Okay. Gotcha. A lot of it is often the first 72, but because of the battle passes and all of that, like keeping people engaged, it usually goes all the way until they announce the next game. And when it finally rolls out, that's when it kind of dies off. So it is around a 12-month window that people keep playing the current Call of Duty game.
Yeah. So, and that's why I said, like, give it 6 months, because it's like, okay, you made your money, but let the hype, like, do it another 3 months, like, let the hype really, kind of dwindle a little bit more before you put it on Game Pass and get that upswing in player count back again, So it's just more of a timing thing than it is like, okay, like, all right, I'm not saying after 3 months, because I feel like that is too short of a turnaround, but I know PlayStation's gotten better about releasing major first party titles, because I know it was like a year and a half at one point for like some of their first parties that or like a year later that it would hit PlayStation Plus before, or like their higher tier subscription services
Premium.
before, so, and it's like, okay, that's a weird thing to do, and then they shortened it to a little bit, I don't think it's perfect, but I think it's within like a 6 month window that they try and do it in now. So I think that's like the sweet spot, because people are going to care, because there's so many games coming out now, especially let alone every year, like every month, every week, games come out, like indies,
Mhm.
all sort of things. So it's like there's so much to play, people have so much time. It's like, don't let opportunities pass you by. Like, just put it, like, be smart about it. Like, back in before live service was a thing, right? They used to, the season passes was like the taboo, because it's
Yep.
like, oh, you're just extending the tail so you don't take it back to GameStop and trade it in. So it's like, we want to keep you and keep you engaged. Like, I feel like that is like putting it on a subscription based service to try out for free at no extra cost. I think is like the new way to do that and to keep players invested.
Yeah, I will be very interested to see what this year's Call of Duty numbers are because of
Right.
GTA.
Oh yeah, no.
You know what I
That
mean?
that's
Like,
going to be, and well, and I think one of the rumors last week that we talked about was it's going to be coming out in October, so which would be perfect because they did that for Red Dead 2, sort of like,
mhm.
or maybe that was the year they came out in November. Anyway, they avoided another Rockstar game by launching ahead of it. You know what I mean? So, I think it would be a good call to do that like a few weeks before GTA 6 dropped.
Yeah, I'm just curious, like the amount of money like they might get hit because of GTA.
Oh yeah,
Because like if you said, "Hey, you can have Call of Duty or you can have GTA in the next month, which one would you choose?" And I'd be like,
GTA.
"Well, I've been waiting for GTA forever, and they come out with a Call of Duty every year."
Right. Well, and
And
I think, and I know it would, like, what I'm about to say would sound counterintuitive, because you would think, oh, put it on Game Pass, like Call of Duty, like keep it on Game
yeah,
Pass for this year, because you're gonna, GTA is gonna take its lunch money. No, taking
mhm,
it off. I think in this instance, taking it off Game Pass this year is a smart move. Make as much money as you can, especially, let's say you launch a whole month before GTA 6. Make as much money in that first, 30 days as you can before GTA 6, because after that, no one's going to be buying it that much, or like like everyone's money for November is going to be going to GTA 6. So, taking off Game Pass would only, I mean, you're only losing money technically a little bit by putting it on Game Pass, but taking, or putting it on there, but taking it off would increase your sales, so that way make up for some of the loss you're going to experience when GTA 6 launches.
yeah. And for the people that are creating, I don't know which studios over this year's Call of Duty, to be honest, because I don't
Yeah,
keep up
I've
with it.
lost track.
Um, your roadmap has to be stellar.
Yes.
There is no wiggle room this year around your roadmap. You have to utterly crush it. You can't have AI slop skins coming into the game. You cannot do any of that because the big dog is here and it is hungry and it's about to eat everybody's lunch
Yep.
that is a live service. Like it is not going, it's not going to play. And everybody and their
Winter is
grandmother,
coming.
yes, yes, the White Walkers are here, y'all. Okay, they're going to kill you. So that's how I'm feeling over here. It's like, okay, they get a month Call of Duty. It's like, okay, crush that month. Like, have some really
Yeah.
cool things. Have double XP weekends. Really go
Mm-hmm.
ham
Yep.
on that first month out, because that's where a lot, again, first 90 days is where they make the most money. The first
Mm-hmm.
72 hours is where they really, because that's like the hotness, anytime a
Right.
new game happens, everybody gets that FOMO. So really, you need to ratchet it down, Xbox, to make this the best launch that you've had in a while. And then, you know, okay, we're gonna kind of cool it down for when GTA comes out, because you're gonna lose a ton of your player base during
Oh yeah.
that first month or whatever. But then it's like, okay, month after GTA launches, hey, we're launching this new map, this new thing's coming out, blah, blah, blah. Like, you got to have something cool to get people to care about your game again, to get
Yes.
those microtransactions, to get people wanting to do all of these things. So you can't just be like, we're going to just have the same playbook. Like, I'm just going to run it up the middle to the right or to the left. And it's like, no,
Right.
Sometimes you got to do something a little bit different there, coach.
Well, and especially like again, I don't remember the last report we had on GTA 6 if it talked about this or not, but let's just say I know there's a scuttlebutt around online launching after 6, comes out. So if it does like a couple week delay, like you need to get it because once GTA Online comes out, then literally your lunch money is completely gone because that's where GTA makes their bread and butter. Like they wake up and they have $1 billion in their pocket from online revenue.
Yeah, them shark bucks, man. Them shark bucks.
Yeah.
We got a little bit more Game Pass news. Game Pass and Discord are teaming up, and this is by Tom Phillips at IGN.
So, Microsoft gaming boss Asha Sharma has teased a new collaboration between Game Pass and Discord as part of further changes to Xbox's subscription service. Writing on social media, Sharma said fans would likely, quote, start to see some code in the wild. Soon as Xbox and Discord begin building a new level of partnership, that sounds like it'll be exclusive to Game Pass subscribers. Quote, for years, Xbox and Discord have worked together to make it easier for players to connect, chat, and play across devices, Sharma wrote. We're teaming up again as we continue to make Game Pass more flexible for our players. Some of you might start to see some code in the wild, and we will share more details with you all soon. Discord's social channels then shared Sharma's post alongside a graphic featuring the logos for both Discord and Xbox Game Pass, and the caption said, quote, soon. Exactly what Discord functionality will be coming to Game Pass subscribers will have to wait and see. Of course, Discord integration has long been baked into the console's basic features, as it is now on PlayStation as well. Xbox fans are now speculating that further Discord features will come to the console, or that some more advanced form of Nitro subscription will be included in Game Pass, which already offers 1 month for free. Recent whispers have suggested that Sharma is keen to make Game Pass more of an a la carte service. Potentially, Discord Nitro could be one of those options. Zach, you're more of like, I know like we have dabbled in Discord to an extent before, but I know we've kind of strayed away from that, because we found other avenues to better further, our services. But what does this say to you? Like, this coming to Game Pass, does it feel weird? Does it fit? And will this, even though we got a decrease because Call of Duty's come out once Discord comes out and have all these features, do you think we'll see I won't say that $7 will go right back up, but do you think it'll go up to 25? Like, do you think this will have an impact on another price increase down the road? But yeah, so yeah, that, and then what do you think overall? Like, what does this do for being on Game Pass?
This does nothing for me. Like, like it's already baked into both. I know PlayStation has Discord as well, and Xbox and all of that. Like, it is just kind of like the basic at this point. It's like expected to be there. So for me, I think this is, if it's Nitro or whatever, that doesn't really do anything for game, like the Xbox, like the console side of things, because like Nitro is like to send bigger files or to stream at a higher bit rate on like channels and all of that. Like it just doesn't seem to, I don't know. It's like, again, I'm not as huge into Discord as some people. Like, yes, we do have a Discord channel and all of that, but I don't think that this is going to move the needle for the majority of people. And, if this is a perk, awesome. If this is something that you're going to, like you said, increase the prices again, now that we've pulled the prices down, no, I don't want that junk. If it's a perk though, fine. That's fine. I don't care.
Thinking about it, like, and just hearing you speak, it kind of made me think. It kind of justified my initial thought on this. Is like, I think all it is just a promo for either or. Like, I think if you're in the Game Pass ecosystem and want to get in Discord, I think it's like, oh, if you're a Game Pass subscriber and you sign up for Discord, you get like the first month of Nitro free or whatever, or vice versa. Like, if you're in Discord heavily and you're on the fence about Game Pass, it's like, oh, join Game Pass, link up your Discord, and you'll get the first month of Game Pass for free or whatever. Like something like that. They'll go hand in hand. I feel like whether you're either or will give you a free month trial of each service, depending on which one you have, or if you're like, maybe you're a first time subscriber to both, and then they give you a month of each for free. You know what I mean? So I feel like that is all it is going to end up being, is promoting Discord stuff and Game Pass. Just I think that's all it is just going to be promotional material for each other. They're
Yeah,
scratching each other's backs.
yeah, that's the same way like YouTube Premium, like they've done free Nitro for like 3 months or whatever with YouTube
Right.
Premium and different services like that. I think there was something. Oh, like I bought some AirPods and it was like, oh, you get 3 months of Apple Music. I was like, dude, I just use YouTube Music. I don't want Apple Music at this
Right.
point. And then it's like, oh, you get free month of Apple TV, and it's like, trust me, I get Apple TV a different way. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't need any of this. So, but yeah, that's just kind of par for the course. You give somebody something free, and then if you get somebody hooked on a subscription, that is the easiest way to make money because people forget about subscriptions.
Thank you. It's
and
like,
then
how many times do you get like, oh yeah, you sign up for a free trial, and then it's like, oh, you got to link your email and put a card on file. It's like, wait a minute, it's free. It's like, oh well, just in case you keep it, we can already go ahead and charge you the next month, and then you forget about it. You may watch for the first couple weeks, then go away from it. Then they count on you forgetting. It's like, oh, and then you're like, what is this charge for? It's like, oh crap, they got me.
Yeah. And then trying to cancel it or get your money back is so hard. And that's why our sponsor, no, I'm just kidding. Check out Rocket Money. But yeah, so this doesn't really move the needle for me, but it is very interesting to see them deepening that relationship. I wonder if PlayStation will do something following that. It's like, okay, if you have premium, blah, 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 blah. Like, will they try to mimic that as they go? Will we see Nintendo ever bring in Discord? Probably not, because they're very,
they like children. To keep it in-house.
Yeah, well, the in-house and then the children.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's like, okay, is that your excuse for being crap?
Right, exactly.
At your chat and everything. I saw a dude on the plane, Derek, and I was so proud of him. He had a Switch 2 up there, sitting in first class, y'all, sitting up there in first class playing a Switch 2.
Heck yeah.
And he was playing an older game, okay, on a Switch 2, and he was playing a Star Wars game, Derek. Which game do you think he was playing?
Oh, it had to have been KOTOR.
It was, indeed. It was KOTOR 1. Yep. I was like, good on you, man. He was on Tatooine. I was like, I remember those days.
The Sand people.
Yep.
So I mean, it was either going to be that or pod racing, and it had to have been one of the two.
Yep, exactly. But yeah, it was KOTOR, and I was like, yeah, man. I was so proud of him. Not that he needed me to be proud of him or anything, but I was just like,
but it was just good to see. Like, there are still people out there that have good taste.
Exactly. Let's jump into our last article before the Patreon quick hits, and this is a different outside perspective on this whole Microsoft stuff, and this is by Wesley Yinpool at IGN.
So a former PlayStation exec has questioned Microsoft's reported bid to revive Game Pass with a price cut. Earlier this week, the new Xbox CEO Asha Sharma reportedly shared a memo with Microsoft employees that stated, quote, Game Pass has become too expensive for players. The Verge reported on Sharma's shift in strategy, which hopes to create a, quote, more flexible system. Game Pass is central to gaming value on Xbox. It's also clear that the current model isn't the final one, the memo said. Short-term Game Pass has become too expensive for players, so we need a better value equation. Long-term, we will evolve Game Pass into a more flexible system which will take time to test and learn around. In a comment on LinkedIn responding to the story, spotted on Respawn First, former boss of Sony Interactive Entertainment of America, Sean Layden, suggested there's no saving Game Pass. Quote, they are trying so hard to will this into health despite unfavorable diagnostics and a grim prognosis, he said. A clarifying post-mortem would do the entire industry some good. Layden is a high-profile critic of subscription services such as Game Pass, saying last year that they can turn developers into, quote, wage slaves. So, and I will listen to Sean Layden. Heck, I'll listen to Jack Tretton before I listen to Jim Ryan on any outside perspective on subscription models. If I'm being completely honest with you, but does he have a point? Like, I know this article came out before the price drops earlier this
Mhm.
week. So, this you know, so I get any outside perspective is like everyone has a different perspective. Like they not everyone has the same opinion about everything. But what do you take from this act? Does he have a? I know he's already been a hard stance against subscription models, like and how they're kind of like icky for the people work behind them, and like how it turns developers into what he says wage slaves. But do you think he has a point in this? And do you think that even though it lowers the price and might bring in some initial thing, do you think that Game Pass is going to be more of a detriment to Microsoft than it is going to be a help?
Well, we already see that it is. As
Right.
much as I love Game Pass, and especially when it
Mm-hmm.
was the best deal in gaming and everything, we've seen what happened to the gaming industry, especially
Yep.
with Xbox layoffs, tons and tons
Mm-hmm.
of layoffs. And we've also seen most of the time since Game Pass has launched, just mediocre of games from first party studios.
Yep.
And then last year we finally got a good year from Xbox with
Mm-hmm.
the various games that we got. Even South of Midnight had its flaws, but it did have a very
Yeah.
interesting story, and I love that about that game.
Mm-hmm.
But Game Pass is, as much as we touted that it's like, oh, this is awesome that it's going back down in price,
Right.
it is not a really good thing for art, because
Correct.
you are trying to put a subscription on art,
Yep.
and that's really hard to quantify. And
Mm-hmm.
especially now, since we've had Game Pass, I'm sure the sales of games have gone down. Yes, you do have a monthly reoccurring, like MRR is so important for any kind of business, which is monthly reoccurring
Correct.
revenue. And with Game Pass, you do have that built in, which is great. But what you don't have is a ton of people buying the game just right out on day one, where you have that influx of cash when, hey, we're launching Gears of War E Day. Guess what? People are going to play that on Game Pass, and you might
Correct.
get $22 from them or whatever it is for them
Mm-hmm.
to play E Day for, 2 weeks. And then guess what? Unless they really love the online side or really want to play it on Insane, they're going to cancel Game Pass. Like, what's
Yeah.
keeping them there? And Sean Layden has been hard on Game Pass ever since it first got announced. He was like,
Correct.
this is not going to be healthy. This is not going to be good for the gaming industry. And for me as a consumer, it makes sense. Okay. It makes sense
Yes.
because I can play as many games as I possibly want with a much lower, hit to my
Cost of
wallet.
entry.
But we also see where we're getting into this position with studios where they don't have the funding that they need, or
Right.
they're having to let people go. And then you look at people that are just freaking crushing it. Team
Mm-hmm.
Cherry, Sandfall Interactive, all of these
Mm-hmm.
smaller developers that are just selling
Yep.
game busters of their games, because guess what? They kept their teams nimble, but they had exactly what they needed, and they sold their game at full price. Was
Correct. Expedition
Clear
33.
on Game Pass? Yes, it was. But
Yes.
guess what? It wasn't anywhere else,
Correct.
you know? So that's the difference between Xbox games, first party games, and I guess that's why I'm curious if we're going to keep seeing them on PlayStation as we get
Yeah.
further into this, because Microsoft wants that 30%.
Oh yeah, and them lowering the cost of Game Pass, I think will definitely affect that 30% ROI. So,
Yeah.
and that's why I think it was also another smart move to take Call of Duty off. Start with this year's Call of Duty taking it off Game Pass, because that's going to be your poster child for making that 30% ROI.
What I would love to see, because they also, like when they upped the price 7 months ago on Game Pass, they
Mm-hmm.
also reduced or took away, I can't fully remember, um, when you would buy something from Game Pass, like if you
Mm-hmm.
bought something fully, you got less of a discount. I
Yeah,
think
they
that,
did something. I can't remember if that was solely on like DLC or like microtransactions, or if that was on the game itself. But I do remember that did affect subscription or the discount as well.
yeah, I think that they need to re-examine that, because I remember that was a bigger number like a few years ago where people were buying things off of Game Pass, especially if
Hmm.
it was going off of it. Maybe not first party games, but at least
Yeah.
third party games when they were leaving Game Pass, people were going to buy them at a pretty good rate because they were enjoying
Hmm.
the game so much. So I do think Sean Layden has a lot of good points here. He clearly
Yes.
saw PlayStation go through one of its biggest periods with the
Hmm.
PlayStation 4 and everything. So, I definitely take his thoughts on this at face value, because Xbox has not been winning for a very long time, and Game Pass has been their solution. And
Yep.
you've got somebody that literally crushed a whole generation from start to finish. And
Yep.
it's like, this is what we did. And I think a lot of this really comes down to Xbox was in a position when they made Game Pass that they didn't have good games.
Correct.
And you make
So
decisions when you're not in a good place that might not serve you in the long run.
just as because it was one of the first party games to do this, and I know it's better now and has way more content, but Sea of Thieves was like one of the first party games to drop on Game Pass day one. Now it was a smart move not to charge full, not to have people give that people options instead of paying a full $60 price tag. But my God, that was not the one you should have started with.
Crackdown 3.
Oh my God. Ooh, it wasn't. You could make a case that that was a worse argument, but I could make it sense like at least Crackdown 3 had a story mode. Just saying.
Yeah, but you remember how bad Crackdown 3 launched.
Oh yeah, it was terrible.
It was terrible.
Like,
So it's like that's what you launch your service with is Crackdown 3 and Sea of Thieves, launch Sea of Thieves.
yeah.
I know I think it was not Dying Light.
State of Decay.
State of Decay 2
Hmm.
launched with it as well, which probably was the best thing that launched with it. That was first party.
Yeah.
So, but that is the saga of Game Pass, everybody. Y'all let us know what you thought down in the comments below. We got one last segment, and that is the Patreon quick hits. You can go right now and get your very own Patreon subscription, because that's what supports the Patreon quick hits. Go support the Nerd Cave by getting your very own Nerd Cave membership to help us continue to keep the lights and the mics on and making awesome shows just like this one, Eat, Sleep, Anime, and all the other awesome stuff. Become part of the ship, part of the crew by getting your very own Nerd Cave membership right now. You have a 1.5 person business out, and it means so much to us. Now it's time for the Patreon quick hits.
Starting off, Dragon's Dogma 2 DLC rumors gather pace following mysterious Steam DB update. Rumor PS6 will be backwards compatible with the PS5 and PS4 games. Meta announces price increases for the Quest 3 headsets ranging from $50 to $100. Battlefield 6 2026 roadmap reveals new maps, ranked play, naval warfare, and more. The Call of Duty movie sets its sights on a June 30th, 2028 release date. Following that, the Elden Ring movie plants its sword for a March 3rd, 2028 release date. Haven Studios' Fair Games is reportedly getting a dedicated extraction shooter mode. As we talked about last week, Zach, here we come. That new trend of Arc Raiders is just driving everybody insane to do this. Resident Evil Requiem Mercenaries mode hinted at in recent data mine. Counter-Strike 2 players slapped with a 10-year ban for punching opponent live on stage. Bandai Namco officially announces Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 coming to PC and consoles in 2027. Dispatch, Ghost of Yote, Expedition 33, and more win big at the BAFTA Game Awards, with Expedition 33 taking home Best Game, essentially their Game of the Year award. The Last of Us Season 3 adds Sinners star Lee Jun Lee to play Yara and Lev's mother, Miriam. Pragmata sells 1 million copies in its first 2 days. New Ubisoft job listings call for experience with generative AI tools. Mass Effect TV showrunner refutes claims that show got rewrites for non gamers. Ex Naughty Dog dev says Uncharted 4 was nearly scrapped after a director said the game sucked. Rumor Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced won't include DLC or multiplayer, which I forgot to take that out because it did confirm that in the unveiling of the game today. Ubisoft reportedly has at least one more Assassin's Creed game in production as a remake. Ubisoft's Animal Crossing inspired title Altera has reportedly been scrapped. Splatoon Raiders, a new single player adventure, gets a July 23rd release date. Iron Galaxy Studios, the team behind Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 Plus 4, suffers layoffs. Marathon doubles life and armor storage stacks as it fights to ease brutal learning curve. Alien Rogue Incursion finally hits the Switch 2. Mind's Eye staff launch a fresh lawsuit, allege toxic culture of secrecy and micromanaging. Troy Baker is considering stepping away from the mic to pursue a surprising new career in game development. Echo the Dolphin Complete Edition brings remasters of 2 classic games, adds new Echo title that extends the journey into the modern era. Vampire Survivors creator Ponkel has 15 projects in the pipeline with plans to open new studios in Italy and Japan. In another major update, in another major Microsoft shakeup, Halo's Kiki Wolfkill reveals she's left the company after 28 years. Fans sue Nintendo to demand tariff refunds are returned to customers. Miyamoto suggests the Mario Galaxy movie Peach backstory is now the video game canon. And lastly, Ubisoft confirms Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced with a release date for July 9th.
We finally get a date for this Black Flag game, dude.
One of the again, like every Ubisoft big game is the worst kept secret, but definitely one of the worst kept secrets this year for Ubisoft. Like, and they did come out like it's not going to have multiplayer, it's not going to have the Freedom Cry DLC, but they will add 3 new shipmates that you can recruit to your team, and we'll have stories around them. So it will have new content. It just won't have the, which I don't know why they don't include the Freedom Cry DLC. I don't know if there was just rights, because they did, while it was DLC part of the season pass, they did launch it as a separate game. So I don't know. And maybe that's the one more game they have to remaster. Maybe they'll do like a full, maybe they'll do some add-ons for Freedom Cry. I doubt that. I doubt that's the thing. Makes me wonder what the one more game is, because they've remastered just about everything else. Assassin's Creed wise, the only one I think they haven't done is 1. But again, why would you go back all the way to the beginning? That's neither here nor there. Ubisoft does some weird things. We know this, but I do have a question about one that just popped in my head, when I was making the doc earlier today. Zach, what do you want? Because we got 2 movies, video game adaptations, with 2028 release dates. Let me focus on specifically Call of Duty. What do you want to see in a Call of Duty movie that would separate? Because we see, like, I know we get first-person shooter war games all the time. You know what I mean? It's not, but Call of Duty, has the ability to differentiate itself. Obviously, the sales reflect that just with the name. But we see a ton of like modern war, World War II movies, a lot in cinema as well. How do you think translating it to the big screen can translate to make it stick out and not just be other than the title? Because my first initial thought was they do what the modern Jumanji did with The Rock and Kevin Hart and just sap you into a video game instead of making it like, like put you in like a live action virtual reality game of Call of Duty. But I don't know if they'll go with that because they haven't really spared any details on what their plans for it. So what do you think a Call of Duty movie can do to stand out from other like war movies?
I think a good story is what it really needs.
Yeah.
The spectacle can be there and everything, but looking at the Uncharted movie, it did really well in cinemas when it didn't really appeal to the people that played the games and everything. So I think a good story, something that's on the lines of like maybe not like World War II, but Saving Private Ryan, something that is large and a spectacle, but has a heart. I think that is going to be the biggest thing about it.
Yeah.
So
okay. I was just curious because I'm just thinking it's like, man, we get so many like like Saving Private Ryan and like so many modern war stories that it's like, how can this stand out? But the story is good. Is a good point as well. Just one point about the Elden Ring movie. Like, I know Call of Duty didn't really give a full casting release, but they did release the full cast of Elden Ring, and one of them just the point is Nick Offerman. So it's going to be interesting to see what character he'll play in Elden Ring, because it's not very much for comedy. And I know Nick Offerman did a serious role in the first season of The Last of Us. I know that, so it's not like he can't do it. But they mainly, when you hire someone who mainly does comedic acting, you're going to hire him for that purpose more times than not. So I wonder what kind of role he'll play in Elden Ring. So just an interesting point.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It'll be interesting to see. Well, there you go, everybody. That is our show tonight. Let us know what you thought down in the comments below. This has been Zach
and Derek.
Y'all have a blessed week. Bye-bye.